haven't been up here in a long time. I worked here for a long time, and I just moved down to Nashville, Tennessee after being in Johnson City for about 12 years, and spent 4 months this summer up in the rural area around Wright, Minnesota, which if you've never heard of that, it's about an hour west of Duluth, Minnesota, which if you've never heard of that, that's about 3 hours north of Minneapolis. Duluth's a beautiful place. Hibbing, he's getting his CDL license in Hibbing next year. Anyway, so I was up there living with Diggs and his wife Young, who's back here, and doing some construction, learning how to do some construction and carpentry work and stuff for him. And so I just wanted to thank those guys for having me for a few months, and make sure that we congratulate Diggs and anybody else in the room that's graduating this weekend, masters, undergraduate, PhD.
The time he spent up there, hence, that's why we look like Sven and Oldie now. Lee said to wear a bright shirt, and this was an international event, so I drove up to International Falls and bought a shirt.
Anyway, we just, I figured I couldn't come up for the weekend graduation, so I figured I'd come up and see Diggs for tonight. And when we were up there, we spent a lot of time around his backyard Bargoda. And, flip over here, flip the dog, and Sweetie the dog over here, and Flop the cat would show up sometimes, and we'd sit out there in the afternoons and drink a couple of Keystone Lights, as it were, and work on some bluegrass songs. And both me and Diggs, kind of like in Lee's tradition, we studied bluegrass music in places that you don't necessarily think about bluegrass music being. So I come from Washington State originally, and wrote a thesis about bluegrass in Washington, and Diggs did his project on some of the ways bluegrass is growing up in Minnesota. So one of the shortcomings, though, is that in the bluegrass canon, there's not enough bluegrass songs about Minnesota. So this one was supposedly by the Stanley Brothers, but we're kind of going to reimagine it as if it was by the Jokimaki Brothers up there in Moose Lake. I'll imagine it better with the capo. That's, I think, what we got today. All right.
Heart to heart, dear, how I need you, like flowers need the dew. Loving you has been my life. Can't believe we're really through. Is it true? Is it true? Have I lost you? Am I not the only one after all? This pain and sorrow, darling, think of what you've done.
Here's the Jokimaki verse.
I'll go back to Minnesota, where the river meets the sky. In those hills I learned to love you. Let me fish there till I die. Is it true? Is it true? Have I lost you? Am I not the only one after all? This pain and sorrow, darling, think of what you've done. Darling, think